Do I have a plan to visit Greece? Not in 2020. However, we did Gymkhana Grid there a few years ago, and it was awesome. We had like a really good time there. Probably one of the wildest Gymkhana Grids I've ever done. Yeah, so any opportunity I've got to go out to Greece, I would love to. It's a tricky one, really. Never really thought about it. I'd probably build like a Bentley or something, just something crazy that no one's ever done before. Like I'd love to turn like a Bentley into a drift car. I suppose like Centerpod would be the best place in the UK to start to learn to drift. I don't think it's crazy money. I don't know exactly how much it is sort of per session, but I know when I was learning to drive or learning to drift, we could go there and it was affordable for sure. I'd say I'm not very American at all. So currently the GT-R has a Liberty Walk V2 body kit on it. And the GT-R engine is a Chevrolet LSX 454. There's only one Scottish guy that I know with an Italian name, and that is Gianni from Status Era. And he's like my favourite guy ever anyway. I don't know, very fast? I have no idea what the top speed is, so I couldn't say how fast it would go, but when I drive them, they're fairly quick. So I'd say fast, very fast, fairly fast, fast. I don't know, go drifting, get all the girls. That was something fun my mate came up with. I thought it was funny. It's a good question. I've got many fond memories of driving in Team Japspeed and driving the Subaru. Do I miss it? I suppose in some ways yes, because at the time it was a car that, you know, it was like, it kind of changed UK drifting a little bit as far as builds were concerned. Like, you know, nobody had really brought out a car that kind of new at the time. And yeah, it was just exciting to be a part of that project. So yeah, I do definitely miss driving the Subaru and being in Team Japspeed. It's wild most of the time. No, it's cool. I mean, we're very lucky in the sense to have Monster as a partner because they share the same vision as us as far as, you know, what we want to do or where we want to go, and being able to come up with these kind of crazy creative ideas and you know, for a company to listen to what you're sort of pitching and then understand it and see the value in it is awesome. And we're very lucky to be able to do some of the things we get to do with them. Party's pretty wild too. I can only really kind of share my experience when I wanted to start learning to drift, and that was kind of just bought a car that I could afford and, you know, just went and started small, you know, just started learning donuts and sort of figure of eights and all that sort of stuff, and then kind of progressed from there into doing sort of, you know, small tracks at sort of Centerpod Raceway, and just kind of started, you know, and kind of gradually kind of tried to get better and tried to improve the car as I was getting better, so that the car could kind of do what I wanted it to do. So, you know, don't be afraid to kind of start with something basic and then build up. Yeah, I guess get a car. You know, my advice, if it was my first drift car, would be go and buy sort of like a BMW 323, 325, something like that, and yeah, just start learning to do donuts and figure of eight, and then kind of progress from there. It doesn't have to cost as much as everybody probably thinks it does. It certainly isn't cheap, but it's not thousands and thousands of pounds. You know, you could do it relatively, you know, on a you know, tight budget. You just need to buy a car and you know, budget the right parts to put on it to go and have a lot of fun. That is a good question. I hope Goodwood Festival Speed later this year at some point. I would recommend that, or in the UK Players show at Goodwood Motor Circuit. There's also Jap Fest, and there'll be some rounds of the British Drift Championship. TBC on dates. I got into drifting, I suppose, after I went out one night to like a car cruise, and there was loads of guys out in like Mark II Escorts, some old Volvos, and they were just, you know, doing donuts, messing around in the car park at this cruise, and I was like, it just looked, you know, way more fun to drive rear-wheel drive cars than it did to kind of be in a Fiesta pulling your handbrake up everywhere. And yeah, I just instantly kind of fell in love with that driving style. Went home, Googled, you know, drifting, I suppose, and looked it up online and found this huge, great big sort of sport, I suppose, and just wanted to get involved. So I just went out and bought a car, and yeah, that was that. Oh dear, poor George. I think probably building the GT-R, I think is my favourite achievement. It was a dream kind of come true, really. I always wanted to own a GT-R, and to be able to turn one into a drift car, which is obviously my passion and love in life, to have both of those combined is yeah, it was a huge achievement for me. No, definitely not. Definitely 100% did not miss Gav. Do you know what's good about Gav? Nothing. The last couple of years at Gap Bill in the team events, we've come third, we've come second. Last year we didn't do so well at all. But yeah, next year, this year, whenever Gap Bill is next, yeah, we'll definitely be back there for the team event. Who's that from? Yeah. So I was 22, 23 when I started drifting. And I saw drifting, and I loved driving cars, and it just looked like the most fun thing to do with a car. And as soon as I tried it, I just fell in love with it. So yeah, it was just kind of, you know, from there really. Yeah, every single time we go up the hill, make sure that when we get to the top, there's nothing left. Want to make sure we put on the best show we can. No, it's never too late for anybody to learn how to drift, I guess. You can be any age you want, as long as you can still drive. I wouldn't recommend the Nissan Note though. Been playing a lot on my new Sparker simulator. I'm not very good at it, I am struggling, but you know, every time I play it, it's a lot of fun and starting to get a little bit better. Other than that, kind of just been in the workshop a little bit, tidying up, just hoping to open up again soon. I would love to start up King of the Ring again, but unfortunately, due to the venue being sold for development, I can't see that happening anytime soon. I'm not sure how to answer this question. I don't know. I don't think they've ever battled each other actually, or maybe they have. Maybe Axel won. I can't remember. I'd have to review Drift Cup footage and see whether either of them have ever battled each other. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure I want to answer this question because they're both really good friends. But thanks for asking, George. I have been watching a little bit of the Virtual Drift Championship. However, I won't be competing anytime soon, I don't think, just because I need a lot more practice. I wish. I used to have a DJ that used to come to some of my events, but George nicked him. Oh yeah, I would love to compete in Formula Drift. However, it would probably take us away from everything that we're currently doing now in Europe to commit to that. And I don't think that I really want to do that right now, as far as being able to drop everything we do currently and then just go and concentrate on that. However, I would love to try and do a couple of rounds in the next couple of years at some point. Probably not trying to cross my arms all the time. When I was first learning to drive, I was like trying to hold on to the steering wheel as if I was driving a car. You've got to kind of let the steering wheel feed through your hands to kind of change direction. And the only way to do that really is to kind of, yeah, let the steering wheel feed through your hands when it's going lock to lock, rather than trying to like feed the steering wheel itself. Yeah, you know, last year at Gym Kinda Good, we did pretty well. We got the fastest time in practice and qualifying. However, I just went the wrong way in like the semi-finals, I think it was. Just kind of made a mistake. I think we're going to just try and use the same setup that we had in Poland for America this year, and hope that it's pretty quick. Probably Martin Richards, VR38 or other engine. I've never drifted a car with a V8 VR38, so I don't know about that, but I'll let you know soon. Probably the one in Riga. I probably realised I needed glasses in Riga. I had glasses by Riga, I just never wore them. And then I thought to myself, I really need to wear my glasses. So then after Riga, I wore them. And yeah, I think we started getting some good results after that. So when we started building the GT-R, I knew that we wanted to use a Liberty Walk body kit. So I reached out to Liberty Walk and asked if we could have a conversation about the build of the GT-R. They told me they were going to be at Essen Motor Show. So I travelled out to Germany. I met up with Kato and Toshi from Liberty Walk and explained the project, told them what we would be doing with the car. And yeah, after a couple of weeks of a few emails backwards and forwards, they agreed. And yeah, since then they've been supplying us with Liberty Walk body kits. We're now on the V2 kit and very soon probably be on the V3. Kill Gavin, marry Corbin, and probably Bert. I reckon Bert would put up the least amount of fight. Gav's useless at most things, and Corbin's fairly useful, so I'd probably marry him. Sorry, Gav. I don't know, maybe sorry, Bert. $1 million. And I'll pay for it for you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The Sparko Sim 2 is incredibly realistic. It's a lot of fun to play online with my friends. I'm not very good at it yet, but I am enjoying every minute I get to play on it. My favourite battle probably was with James Dean in the final in Germany. You know, to be in a final is, you know, just gets you so excited anyway. And obviously to battle James again is a lot of fun. Yes. Anytime you like, mate, no problem. Probably the fuel light. I only know of the Players show at Northfield. That's about the only event I think that has anything to do with cars in Essex now. Other than maybe like some smaller sort of supercar meets or something, but yeah, I don't really know of anything else car show related. George Barkley. I'd say my favourite memory is probably winning in Abu Dhabi. We changed the engine only a few days before the event from the SR to a V8, and then the event itself at Yas Marina circuit was just awesome. You know, like to actually get to drive on the F1 circuit at night at Abu Dhabi, and you just looked around and you couldn't. I just couldn't believe that we were there and we were drifting on the circuit. So that was amazing. All the local drivers are so cool as well. It's just awesome to go and hang out with them guys. We'd probably be building the GT-R. All of them are V8. My street car still has an SR20. But yeah, they're all V8. LS3, LSX, and LSXR. My favourite beginning drift car, I guess, would be a BMW 325. I had a lot of fun in those when I was starting out to drift. Still have a lot of fun in them now, actually. It's fairly intense at times. The GT-R's got a lot of power. It's a lot of fun though, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's fairly intense. I think you need to do a slightly better question than that to get a free t-shirt. I have no idea. When I left school though, I wanted to be a policeman. I know that much. I genuinely wanted to be a copper. Maybe I would have followed that. That was only because I wanted to drive the cars really fast though. That was only because I wanted to get into police chases, that was all. He is definitely the most handsome Irish man I know. Yes, 100%. As long as there's some rounds to the BBC, we'll be there. Martin Richards. Sorry, George. Martin Richards. No, I don't know. Martin's like a gentle giant, so I don't know. He's not really that aggressive either. I don't think I've ever seen Martin lose his rag. I don't know. But then George is George. I'm not really sure. I don't think I'd be scared of George even if he got angry. Would Martin though? I don't know. It's an interesting one. Maybe we should let them go at it, just to answer this question. Well, with all them choices, I guess it's George Barkley. I was trying to think of like a scenario I'd rather have the R35 versus the R34 in, and to be honest, both of them would tick the box. I guess I would keep my R35 as a drift car and maybe have an R34 on the road. The Nissan GT-R was kind of just like a car I really wanted to have on the road as like a road car. So when we got the opportunity to build it as a drift car, it just kind of made sense. Gap Bill's pretty gnarly. You know, there's some really big corners at Gap Bill. That's probably like the longest, like continuous drift I've ever done. Yeah, probably Gap Bill. There's Nissan, obviously the GT-R, the PS, and then my S13. I guess in an order of favourites, that would be them. The Stalk. I just wanted to go and do more events in Europe, really, and I kind of just needed to, you know, I kind of had to build my own car to have the opportunity to do that. So that's probably where it came from, just having seen some of the events that were going on in Europe, and I wanted to go and do a bit of that. So yeah, decided to build my own car and go and have some fun. No, I wouldn't. I don't think I'll become a PT anytime soon. However, Axel is very fit. I'm sure he can show people a home workout or two. Anglo-American Fuel Company. Boobs on my head, I guess. I guess the only challenge really, the biggest challenge I guess was just believing in myself being able to do this, and just having the confidence to go and, you know, just go and make it happen. You know, if you want something, you need to just, you know, make it happen and go and do it. And I suppose the confidence to get out there and make it happen was the biggest challenge I had at the beginning. I suppose leaving Team Japspeed and going out on my own, I suppose. If you want to give away more cars, excellent. I recommend Rob Black and Aidan Clements. Axel. He went too far. I actually wound him up for about a week after that event, I told him that Silverstone were going to fine him for doing too many burnouts. Maybe later this year.